Off the coast of Japan, a stone monument as tall as an 8-story building rises from the seafloor in giant right-angled steps. Science cannot decide whether anyone built it. In 1986, a Japanese dive tour operator was scouting the waters off Yonaguni, the last island of Japan before Taiwan, looking for hammerhead sharks. What he found instead, 25 meters down, made him question his own eyes. A stone terrace 150 meters long, rising in clean steps, flat faces, sharp edges, corners that meet at right angles, long parallel grooves, what looks like a walkway, what some call a gate. He assumed he'd discovered sunken ruins and named the spot for what he saw, Iseki Hanto, Ruins Point. Many who followed him down assumed the same, but for nearly 40 years, the Yonaguni monument has refused to settle into either category, because the closer experts look, the stranger the answer gets. This may be the rarest kind of mystery, one where the question itself, did humans make this, is still open. To see why serious people believed it was built, start with the man who spent his career on it. Masaaki Kimura, a marine geologist, not a fringe figure, spent decades surveying the site and catalogued features he argued go beyond nature. Terraces that step in ways bedding plains shouldn't. Holes he read as post holes, a stone he read as a carved turtle, drainage like channels and toolmark like scars. His position, refined over the years, was measured. Perhaps a natural formation that humans modified, a quarry or a ritual site, worked while it still stood above the waves. And at its boldest, his map grew breathtaking. 10 structures off Yonaguni and 5 more toward Okinawa. A drowned complex he read as a castle, temples, a stadium, roads and water channels, 300 meters end to end. He even described an underwater sphinx, its face that of an ancient king. The press reached further still and resurrected Mu, the Pacific's own lost continent. Pure legend, invented in the 19th century, but a measure of the spell this place casts. And the terrace did once stand above the waves. That part isn't controversial. At the end of the last ice age, sea levels here were far lower. The terrace would have been dry land roughly 10,000 years ago. People were in the Ryukyus then. The bones say so. The timing is what makes the artificial theory electric. If humans shaped it, they did it in the same deep prehistory as Göbekli Tepe. Then the geologists dived and the story flipped. Now the cold shower, and it's a good one. Yonaguni's bedrock is fine sandstone and mudstone that fractures along flat plains, in straight lines, at right angles. That's not a mystery, it's what this rock does. Robert Schoch, the geologist who dived the site repeatedly, points out that on the island's own shoreline, above water where nobody claims a monument, the same rock breaks into the same staircases and sharp-edged terraces carved by nothing but waves and tectonics. This cape takes typhoon seas head-on, one of the most energetic erosion environments imaginable. The post holes, natural potholes. The walls, fallen blocks stacked by current. The tool marks, fracture textures. In the strict geological reading, Yonaguni is a masterpiece of sedimentary bedding and joint sets. And the skeptics kept coming, and they weren't enemies of the idea. John Anthony West, the man who spent his life arguing the Sphinx is thousands of years older than Egyptology allows, a natural ally if this site ever had one, dived Yonaguni and came up siding with the geology. Kimura, he said, simply hadn't looked hard enough at what nature can do. In 2019, a Japanese geoscientist ran the terrain through digital elevation modeling, the cold arithmetic of slopes and joints, and the computer's verdict came back the same: bedding, fractures, weathering, erosion. Natural, both sides have stood on the same stone. They still don't agree, and the evidence that could settle it keeps refusing to exist. Why can't modern science just settle it? Because the deciding evidence refuses to exist. No pottery, no tools, no hearths, no burials. Not one artifact has been recovered from the terrace, and without artifacts, archaeology has nothing to hold. Erosion in this surf zone would have scoured away subtle tool marks thousands of years ago, so their absence proves nothing either. The features that look most compelling underwater photograph beautifully and measure ambiguously. And Japan's government has never designated the site for protection or funded a full excavation-grade survey. Officially, there is nothing there to protect. And there's a tell, if you want one, in how the artificial case has behaved under pressure. Kimura's own date for the site has wandered. At first, 10,000 years or more, old enough for the Lost Continent headlines. Later, 5,000, from stalactites in drowned caves. By 2007, just 2,000 or 3,000, the site dropped by earthquakes rather than drowned by rising seas, and tied to a half-legendary kingdom from Japan's earliest recorded history. That drift isn't dishonesty. It's what happens to any claim with no artifacts to anchor it. The dates float free. So the monument sits in an evidentiary dead zone, too regular for comfort, too natural for proof. The likeliest verdicts, soberly, are either entirely natural or Kimura's modest middle path. Natural, touched by human hands. Between those two readings lies 10,000 years of possible history and no way yet to choose. What would settle it? One artifact under an undisturbed layer, one verified toolmark below the erosion line. The terrace tops rise to within 5 meters of the sunlit surface. You can look down on them through a snorkel mask, and the answer is still out of reach. Yonaguni is a mirror. Whatever you believe about the deep past, the terrace will happily reflect it back at you, which is exactly why it must be held to evidence, and why the honest answer is the hardest one. We don't know, and we might never. But sometimes the tools of science do break a deadlock. On the most famous plateau on Earth, muon detectors and subsurface radar have spent the past decade seeing through solid stone. And what they keep finding under and inside the pyramids of Giza is not what the textbooks promised. That story is next, and if tonight's mystery held you, a like helps more people find the deep past, and subscribing brings you a new story every week. I'll see you down there.